Hey everyone, welcome to a full timeout. Tonight's guest has won multiple championships with the Sipag, with his most recent being the back-to-back championships in 2018 and 2017 for the senior division in NABA. He captured the 2018 MVP. Currently, he works as a global basketball consultant and entrepreneur. We want to welcome Banjo Albano to the program. Banj, thanks for joining us. You're on a full timeout.
Hey, Banj.
Fellas,
What's up?
how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Maintaining, hanging in there, making the most out of the situation.
Likewise. Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
All right. Just to kick things off, Banj, you've been with the program, the CPAG program, for as far back as you can remember. Can you tell us? Can you walk us through the early stages of being in CPAG and maybe some of your better, more memorable moments?
Guess the first recollection I have of Sipag basketball, I guess, is walking into Staten Island Tech, or we know as McKee. And that's the first time I had any type of team setting or organized basketball. I may probably on a Sunday in the winter. I guess back in 1986 when the program officially started, and that there were very, very fond memories. A lot of the kids that we grew up with were there. So I think it was something we had to do. But then I guess eventually the love of the game jumped in and progressed from that point on.
Now, was CPAG your first exposure to basketball, or were you kind of getting into it before joining the program?
I mean, I was born into the game.
Yeah.
When my father was a national coach and a collegiate coach. When you have your older cousins that played the game, it was always something that was, I guess, from day one was instilled in me. But I took my own journey eventually as time progressed.
Great.
As you started, right, Banj, you kind of mentioned, our older cousins who were already playing. Like, how big of an impact did they have in your early development of, obviously cultivating your love for the game, and really your first exposure to a higher level of competition?
I think just like anybody else that that started the game, basketball is a team sport. So whether I was on the court with with my cousins and their friends because they need an extra body, or if we were just all there shooting around, it's always been a family game. So I had again, I was lucky to have older cousins that loved the game, and they were able to even though we weren't playing with them on the same team, maybe if we were at the park, maybe we would be shooting on the side hoops when they would be playing, or when they would be on the other end of the court, you would get some shots up underneath before they come back to the side that we were kind of hanging out on. But again, as we got older and we were able to actually hang with them, that was a big piece of my development, because without Chris and Paul picking this up to bring us to PS35, or like Mike and Coy taking us down to the JCC, or wherever we could play, anywhere we showed up, we had our five.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always fun, whether it was at the CYO Center, running midnight basketball, or, you know, suiting up for, Sipag or one of the, Phil-Am teams for some summer tournaments. That was always, that's the advantage of having a big family to play the game.
Yeah, for real.
Can you,
All right.
like, going back, can you, like, remember your favorite Sipag memory as a kid? Or do you have a Sipag memory as a kid that, like, for whatever reason has stuck with you, you know, for so long?
You know what, there was, I mean, Phil, I don't know if it was Sipag or Phil-Am basketball in general, but I think, like, the first intercity that we went to, me and Champ, we jumped on with when Chris and Paul and Ed and Jerry were playing with, like, the New York team back in again the early '80s, or the late '80s at that. That was fun because, we were learning about the game and, seeing, I guess, the highest caliber, Phil-Am basketball at the time. It was special, and being like 8 or 9 years old and seeing your older cousins on the floor, it was something that, of course, that you want to aspire to be one day. And although you didn't realize what it took at that moment, it was just, there's a certain love and interest for the game that wasn't forced. That wasn't like someone saying, hey, you got to play this game. It was more of like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, and I enjoy it. So whether it was that or playing in the first NABA here in CSI in '89, or Patrides now, but
good year.
We had our Pee Wee team. That was I believe that was the first year that they had a Pee Wee division. I think there was like 3 teams.
So that's another thing. Wait, so for our viewers, because some of our viewers may not know that, and just quickly, because you just touch upon it, and I don't want to let that slip away. Just quickly describe the size of NABA and like back then compared to what it is right now. Because you just mentioned how many divisions were there in '89.
There was probably 3. They had the
3 divisions,
like the older men, like
that's crazy,
like real old. Then you had the open division, which is like obviously the NABA's marquee division. And then again in that year '89, it was the first year they had Pee Wee, which I think was like
12 and under, 13, yeah,
13 and under. But I think it was Toronto, Detroit, and then New York.
Is that all the U.S. representative teams?
Sorry,
that's all the teams was that all the teams that represented USA?
I could
3 intercities. That's crazy.
3 teams. I just remember that I think the Detroit team, they were older. So it was more of an exhibition. We played against each other a couple of times, and then there's a championship game. I believe we won that. I think we beat Toronto. I can vividly remember that, and we had like 20 guys. Not everybody played, but I mean, we had an army on the bench.
Now, fast forward that to 2019, like 2008, 2019, like.
Well,
describe you got to see that.
There were 2 basketball courts at the old CSI, which is now Patrides.
Mm-hmm.
So you had one court, I think, where we played in the seniors, and the other court, the open division. So you literally just go back and forth. You turn your head one way, or actually there's a divider, so you have to leave the gym, go through the other entrance, and then go back and forth. And it was different, and even like years after, every year just kind of get bigger. Now you want one court, one gym with multiple courts to multiple venues,
right?
To it's
the growth has really it's expanded, every decade, every year.
Like all these different divisions and
even different sports.
the
Right.
girls,
Exactly.
women.
You're implementing volleyball.
And
Absolutely.
the Miss NABA contest.
And the Miss
The
NABA
pageantry.
contest of the day was hands down a lot better than. I mean, nothing against what's going on right now, but
Yeah,
they
it's for the kids.
had some females.
So you talked about.
Ask Paul Van about that.
We'll get them on soon.
We'll get them on soon. Yeah, exactly.
So you talked about the NABA in '89. Speaking of NABA, looking back on, well, it's like 30 years of NABAs for you. What is your favorite NABA moments, or that means most to you?
I mean, I think just winning every, I can't say it's like one particular NABA because, just anytime we won, there was always something, like it wasn't easy. It was never easy, right? Whether it was, you had some tough teams, going against tough teams, or even sometimes like internally, just being able to fight through the challenge of like, say, not practicing as a team together, preparing, not having all the guys together, people getting hurt, like the year we won in Montreal was special, I think. I mean, especially for me, it was not only was like an MVP novel for me, but I busted my eye open. I had like this huge gulp in my eye, and I was able to play through. And I think it was only because I didn't realize how big that, the injury was, right? And
plus your adrenaline is going, I'm sure.
Adrenaline is going, and I wanted to win. I wanted to make sure that, I'm going to be there for the team. And, it's like, I didn't go there to watch basketball. I went there, every year I go there to win. And, by the grace of God, it didn't open up, if I think I was talking to Sam, like they wanted to open it up so let the blood drain out so it wouldn't swell. At the same time, that means like I wasn't going to be, if I had to leave to go to the hospital, it wasn't like a guarantee that I was going to get, they were going to see me right away. And who knows? I was like, with the championship game is in a few hours, let's just get this thing done and then figure it out from there.
And this happened in the semis, right?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Even all the novel, I can remember when we won in Westchester. That was, that was fun because it was our first.
What year was that?
99. I want to say it was 99.
99 was Philly.
Actually, no, yeah. I think 90.
90.
No, 97.
96.
No, 97.
97.
Yeah, because
you just graduated high school.
Yep. So I was going into my freshman year at Hunter. Miggs was already at Utica. Champ was going into his senior year. And that was, I think that was actually the year that I don't want to say that like, the Fab Five guys like turned over the reins to us, but that was pretty much like the changing of the guards. And it was special. Because we beat a tough Detroit team. I don't know, I think that was in the semis, the final. That I forgot who it was, but the road to the finals wasn't easy. But the venue was great. All the games were in that one, in one venue, if I can recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So the excitement was there of like, when they knew Sipag was coming or playing, everybody just swarmed to the courts. That's something that's, you always remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you brought up a very interesting fact. And if I recall correctly, 97 you were graduating high school, but that wasn't your first year playing for Open, correct?
No, so I played
Chicago.
6 in Chicago.
So the year before that, 96.
96. Yeah, it was in Chicago. Yeah. We lost.
Now you brought up, so there's no secret. The way that Sipag basketball got on the map throughout the '90s was a very special group of the two Albanos, two Grospis, and the Santos.
Yep.
You coming up, and you mentioned earlier on in the interview, remembering, watching our older cousins play, and I'm sure wanting to be part of that as well. But moving up 96, 97, you got your first real, chance to contribute. What was it like for you coming up behind that kind of five, and really with your core group of you, our brother Champ, Miguel, knocking on the door behind, the five, if you will. What was that like for you, your experience? And can you kind of go into some detail regarding your process?
I mean, overall, I think it was great to have them, kind of set the way and pave the roads for us. At the same time, like the thing I loved about Sipag and Phil Am basketball was it was a great preparation for the school season, because NABA happens in September. Usually the week after
starts.
that,
Yep.
go right into school starts a few days after, if not before that, and then you go right into preseason, right? So workouts, and of course you had the summer stuff going on, but then it really, you turn it up, and having those guys ahead of us winning, we just we wanted to make sure that we just kept the legacy going. But it wasn't about like, oh, who's gonna be taking over so and so's role or this and that. It was just we just wanted to get out there and win and play. Anytime we get on the court, make sure that we produce. And usually it all started with defense, right? Of course, when you're young, you're gonna turn the ball over, you're gonna miss some shots. But we were playing against like grown-ass men, and the teams, anywhere Sipag went, there was a big target on their back, on their heads. So it wasn't like teams were like, oh, these guys are coming up, let's take it easy on them. Like, nah, like they were coming at us. So it was it was great to have like those guys with us, or showing the way. But at the same time, when we would be playing, it's not like they would want to come out of the game either. Right? The hardest job wasn't the players, it was really the coaches. How do you rotate these guys? And that was a tough job.
What were those practices or summer workout or summer set? I might have stole the words out of your mouth, JJ. Sorry.
I was thinking about the Dream Team documentary, and they were saying that the best competition they had was actually in practice. So do you feel like that's agree to that with your team?
I mean, to a certain extent, of course. I think, we were, we were spoiled because we had the five there, and it's not like it was just them too. We had Mike Salo was there, different bigs that came in and out of the Sipag program, as well as like our ingrown, some of our talent that we produced on the island. So practices were fun. I mean, you got to, you wanted to play, you had to win games, and it wasn't like anyone was taking it easy on each other. If anything, they were harder. So at the time we did get to know, it was cake.
Did Coach Boots do any mind games like Coach Daly?
I mean, like I said, I think Buddah had the hardest job. Rest in peace. Like, he had guys that, wanted to play and could play, and versus like and then he had other guys that, that were, with the five, when we came into the mix, a lot of, by 96, 97, Romel was already in the Philippines playing the PBA. Chris, Jerry, Ed, Paul, they were, obviously a little older. They were working. They weren't as, I guess, as in shape as they used to be, but they would just be, mentally stronger than a lot of the teams that we played against. And the chemistry was always there. I think when we came up, if I could speak on behalf of like Champ and Miguel and myself, it was like, well, we were in the mix of, whether it was high school or college basketball. So obviously we were in a lot better physical shape, but they had the experience of playing together there. So, like I said, it was really tough for Buddah, or whoever was coaching us, to make sure that we get, the rotations were in. And that was frustrating at times, man. Like, for me personally, like whether I was going into, from high school or college, coming in, like you're at your kind of like your peak of your game in terms of conditioning. I'm not saying skill set, but just conditioning in general, right? You could play eight games in one day and be fine. And, you just want to we wanted to be on the court all the time. So that was, again, it was real tough to manage a lot of that. And, at the end of the day, there's still egos there. Like even within just us, Champ was at Peters, I was at Moore. We wanted to prove, who was better or could produce more. And same as Miguel, like, Miguel was 6'5", like he needed to get the ball too. So it was, being able to coach teams like that and win, that's special.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Coach Boots, can you share with us maybe one of your favorite Buddah stories?
Favorite Buddah story? I just know that every time we would win, he would come up to us and, we would probably both crying. Same did it because, Buddah and I had this, it's all love. The relationship was always love, but we just always just get at each other. I would get at him because I wanted to play, right? And he would get at me because obviously he needed to make sure that, he gets the rotations go, tight. And, whether it was like Chris or Ed or Paul, again, it's a joke, but it's not. Like, I felt like at that time, we were in better shape than all of them. And, like, not to say that, I want to play the whole game, but there were times that, that, I would sit longer than I should have been sitting, and guys were turning the ball over, or guys were just, things were happening on the court. And, I was young. So, of course, I'm just, say my piece because I wanted to compete and I wanted to win. And, at times, I want to say it wasn't disrespectful, but it was definitely opinionated. And, he was in a tough position, man. He was always in a tough position because he had to, politically, he had to play guys. And, NABA's not like it's, you got 16 weeks, it's 2 days. And every game is a big game, and every minute is big. I think from my point of view, it's just like, let me just handle what I got to handle here and then rotate guys in. And, it's easier said than done, but it was it was always gratifying at the end when we did win, and, we would just hug it out, put everything aside. And it was always like, win or lose, we'd always, connect and definitely like no grudges. He knew where I was coming from. I understood what he was trying to do, but again, I wanted to win. So
yeah, that was the game.
I think as competitors, right? Yeah, as competitors, you want to be able to contribute. Some even say, winning solves everything. So it depends on what perspective you look at it. As long as you guys get the job done. I just want to ask one more. Like you obviously mentioned, having to kind of pretty much, like everybody else, like most cases, kind of wait your turn. Your turn finally came. When it finally did come, and you were able to be, the veteran alongside, our champ, Miguel, Pat Pilar, Mike Sala, that group, winning during that time. 'Cause I think you guys won that. Your particular core group won in '99, right, in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
and then a few more after that. But winning that first one, you could say kind of like on your own with a very short roster that year, and actually coming back from the losers bracket, which has never been done before. Like, what was that experience like, that particular summer for you?
Well, right, 99. We were. I was going into my junior year at Hunter, so the year before that, my team, we just came from the Elite Eight. We went 28-2, steamrolling through teams. The following, that was 96, 97, 98, 98, 99. That summer, Miguel, Champ, Patrick, and I went to the Philippines to play for a NABA select team that represented Happy Toothpaste in the PBL Vismin Cup. So, we were out in Manila for a good month, I believe. And, prior to that, we were preparing, we were obviously working out. We were playing with, the best guys from all of NABA. And, we just felt like, going into that particular NABA, and we were shorthanded. We didn't have everybody there. We're like, there's no way we weren't going to win this whole thing. But unfortunately, NABA's tough, and we lost. I want to say the first day. I think the second game or third game. And then there was a lot of yelling and a lot of just getting shit off our chest. And then, by the time everything finished that Saturday night, we said, tomorrow morning, Sunday, let's walk in the park, man. We'll win the first one, we'll stay on, and we'll take the trophy when we're done. And we literally did that one by one. We just knocked teams out. And I remember walking into that gym in LaSalle, that late Sunday afternoon. And, most of the people that saw us from the entrance onwards, they're like, oh man, who'd you guys lose to? What happened? And they were like, oh no, we're playing in the finals. And the faces of these people were like, wait, what? Because they knew, everybody knows our schedule. They see it up there. But we had to play 6 games to make it to the finals, or 5 just to make it to the finals. Mind you, the gym that we played at was hot as hell.
Yeah.
There was no AC. It was, it just didn't. And even at LaSalle or wherever the venue there, the finals was, it's either it was hot or it was just so sticky, because I remember the first few possessions, people were slipping all over the floor. I think Mike Sala took a hard fall. I think we played Toronto, who I think the Toronto team that actually beat us, I think the first day, and we pressed them in the beginning. And I remember there was one wet spot, particular corner, and guys just kept falling over there. And we just, for some crazy reason, they would always end up over there, and we would trap there, and and it was steal, layup, and literally within the game was over in the first 5 minutes, man. I mean, I kid you, the game was over in the first 5 minutes, and we went in, and again, it was Champ, Miguel, Patrick, myself, Mike Sala was there. I think we didn't have 10. I know we didn't have 10, which honestly made things a shitload easier.
Yeah.
Because guys knew they had to step up, they had to play, and guys came up and came through, and that was that was a big deal. It helps a lot.
All right,
Like I
nice.
said, I think no one's ever done that in the Open division, losing the first inning and actually winning the championship. So it's actually kind of that's kind of cool.
You don't want to do that, but
No, you definitely don't want to do that.
Even to this day, that's not hasn't
I
been done.
believe so. Yes, I believe
That's
so.
crazy.
That's tough because, like you said, you mentioned the format the following day. It's like you pretty much you got to win out six games in a row.
Yep.
All right, Banjo. I want to get into a few photos here.
Oh, man. This should be interesting.
I don't got much. All right.
Ooh,
this is
that's the
a
team?
happy team.
Oh man, that's
The select team.
Yeah, that look at this. Look at the guys in uniform and look at the all-stars out of uniform.
The entourage is crazy.
Wow.
I think you guys need a whole different podcast for that because so here's something about that trip going into NABA. All right. So we played.
Now this is the team that you mentioned before, right?
Yeah. So we played the first 2 weeks. We were out in like some province down south in Mindanao. The following 2 weeks, we were in Manila, and we just raged. We raged every night. There was a club called Mars, and literally just turned up every single night. So by the time we got home, back in New York, it was like, yo, we got to get our shit together because we got NABA in like 2 weeks. Luckily enough for us, maybe that's why we lost that first game. But luckily enough for us, we were able to turn it on just in time. That was a fun team, man.
What cities represented this team besides Staten Island?
So we got from the pictures here, you got Troy Daniels who played for Detroit. That's me over there.
This is left to right.
Yeah, left to right.
Okay.
Jerome Santa Maria played. He was Toronto and champ. Obviously, Sipag. BJ Leon, he played for Boston. Mm-hmm. Boston still had a NABA squad. That's Paolo Roldan. Then Donnie. Is that Donnie? Yeah, Donnie. Sorry, Franco. They're from Mississauga. They're from that Toronto area. Eric Andres. Eric was playing for Jersey or Westchester at the time, and he actually was teammates with Champ at CSI. King Tucson, Sipag. He was Westchester, then eventually with Sipag. Miggs, Patrick, obviously Sipag boys. It's Miguel Roldan. Yeah, Paolo's brother, also from Mississauga, and Elvin Equibanez, Toronto as well.
And who's this little guy over here?
I can't see. My computer's kind of fuzzy.
Familiar, man. Girls out that whole trip.
You didn't mention the point guard, bro. I'm right there. Come on.
Yeah, I think he was point guard that was shaving points.
I was taking bets on the side of the locals.
I don't think he's there. Elvin's brother was also on that trip.
Eric. Yeah.
Eric, yeah.
His parents, I remember him.
Was our ball boy /
I was the ball boy of that team.
Everything. That's an epic trip, man. Wish we could do that again.
Let's fast forward almost 30 years. Oh,
there you go.
Oh, that's the eye.
This is the MVP year, right?
It was 2018 in Montreal.
How did you see in that thing?
I don't know how boxers do it, but
was it like Apollo Creed?
I felt
like tapping your head.
You know what? Like I think the adrenaline was going so much that you just we just play it through because that
Did that throw off your balance? I don't know if I ever asked you that. Like, if you can't really see fully, like.
I just remember I think that happened in the first half.
Man, that's crazy.
Man, that's tough.
So I think by the time, again, if I saw it earlier, maybe, I don't know, somebody would have told me not to play, but they asked me if I was okay, and I said, yeah, and we ended up, luckily, again, it wasn't worse. That would have sucked. If that opened up and I had to leave and I couldn't play, I would have been real pissed.
And there's your team. There's your squad.
It's worth it.
Got it done, man.
It was worth, of course. All right. Banjo,
It's a
before I
good
let you
time.
go, I just want to run down a quick list of questions.
Let's go.
All right. During this quarantine, are there any new skills or hobbies you've picked up?
2, I've been cooking more at home. And then I just picked up a new bike.
Oh,
So,
nice.
mountain bike. So I've been riding.
What are you currently binge watching?
What am I binge watching?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not really big into even TV or anything, but I started Money Heist with Kaya. Obviously, Last Dance.
Yeah.
You know,
Great
everybody.
documentary.
You know,
I heard about that.
Speaking of the NBA, if the NBA were to continue, who's winning the ship?
Oh,
tough one.
Who do you like?
I mean, just with the momentum going that direction, you know, I think the Lakers would have been tough to go, but with the quarantine and with the breakage of play, you know, it's tough to say. I go with LeBron, yes, but you know, it might be the younger team in Milwaukee might have, if they could get there, right, might have the pieces, because they just got young legs to go. But that's a tough one, man. I'd still say Lakers.
Once the quarantine and shutdown's over, what's the first thing you're doing?
Getting on a flight somewhere.
Who's
This
your
is the longest I've ever been in the same city in a while.
Who's your favorite
itchy feet.
Sipag teammate of all time?
Favorite Sipag teammate? Jeez. I don't have one, man.
No.
I mean, just teammate. Let me see. Let me really think.
I mean, we played together.
Could be anything.
I think it's just that core, a core between Champ, myself, Miggs.
Yeah, of course.
As a squad.
And just a segue, one guy you want to see on this show.
One guy I want to see on this show.
On this series.
Larry Albano.
We'll get him on. Get him on the list.
I might be able to get him, but I'll make a few phone calls.
All right, JC, you have anything to add?
No.
Banj, thanks for joining us this evening.
That was fun, guys, man. Anytime, keep doing it. I'm looking forward to checking you guys out. Anything you need from me, leave me a message somewhere. Maybe I'll call you back.
We say this to everybody, but we're going to need a part 2.
All right. I'm down, man. Let's rock.
All right, cheers.
All
Kill
right,
on 3.
Kill on 3.
Kill
1,
on
2, 3. Kill.
All right, good night, boys.